Greetings, my beloved friends. My name is Ivy. I'm about to tell my love story, which will help so many of you to know that most of times some disappointment is a big blessing. That's why you don't need to lose hope. So bring your chair, sit down and listen. I had built my life around one man, Mason. For 5 years we planned everything together. Career goals, travel dreams, even the names of our future children. I supported him through graduate school, worked double shifts as a waitress, and sacrificed my own ambitions, believing in a love that felt eternal. But eternity ended on a Thursday. The broken engagement. We had just finished dinner at my favorite Italian restaurant. Mason had been acting strange all week, checking his phone constantly, avoiding eye contact, jumping at every call. I thought he was nervous about the upcoming engagement party. Instead, he said 6 words that shattered my world. "I'm in love with someone else." Blink. "What?" "It's your cousin Kiara," he said, barely whispering. "We didn't plan it. It just happened." Silence fell like a storm inside my head. I couldn't even cry. I simply stood up, dropped the ring I secretly bought for him onto the table, and walked out. I didn't turn back. A proposal from a stranger. 3 days later, I was still hiding in my apartment, crying into a pillow when my phone rang. It was my landlord, polite but firm. I was a month behind on rent. Then, as if fate wanted to destroy me completely, I received a wedding invitation from Mason and Kiara. The wedding was in 3 weeks. My heart flipped. Anger took over grief. I needed to escape, to reclaim control, even if just for a moment. That was when I opened my inbox. There was a message from Ethan Leclerc. We met once at a tech event through mutual friends. He was polite, charming, reserved, but distant. We barely exchanged 5 sentences. Yet here he was, sending me a message with 3 simple lines. "I heard about Mason. Sorry. I know this is sudden, but would you consider marrying me?" I thought it was a joke. But when I didn't reply, he sent another message. "I'm serious. It's not about love. It's about saving us both. I'll explain in person." The unbelievable arrangement. Curiosity got the better of me. We met at a rooftop cafe in Kensington. Ethan was dressed in a black tailored suit, a calm aura surrounding him like a force field. "I need a wife for personal reasons," he said simply. "And I can offer you security in return." "What kind of reasons?" I asked. He paused. "Some are legal. Others are family-related. My grandfather's estate has strict conditions. And I need a partner, quickly." "You don't even know me," I whispered. "I know enough. You're strong. You're hurting. And I know what it feels like to be betrayed." His honesty caught me off guard. "I'll give you financial freedom, your own space, and respect. No pressure. Just a clean, quiet partnership, unless something more develops." I wanted to say no. But pain does strange things to the heart. Said yes. He engaged me that day. Everything felt surreal. Ethan's chauffeur had picked me up in the morning after the wedding. No honeymoon. No emotional goodbyes. Just a simple note from him. "I have urgent meetings overseas. The house is yours. Rest. We'll talk when I return." First I thought he was joking. But when I stepped into the massive stone-front mansion located in Surrey's wealthiest district, I knew he wasn't. The estate looked like it belonged in a royal family. Tall pillars, a sweeping driveway, perfectly trimmed hedges, and a black iron gate that hissed shut behind me like a warning. The housekeeper, Maria, met me at the door. "Welcome, Mrs. Leclerc," she said with a polite smile. "We've been expecting you." I swallowed. That name, Mrs. Leclerc, barely sounded like me. A life I didn't expect. Ethan hadn't told me much about himself. In fact, I realized I knew almost nothing about my new husband, except that he was kind, mysterious, and rich enough to pay for my cab the first day we met with a solid black card. But this was wealth I couldn't process. Room after room was filled with antiques, books, and luxury furniture. An indoor spa, a marble dining hall, a personal chef named Lionel, and more staff than I could count. Everything felt too large, too cold, too distant. Maria gave me a tour, but I couldn't focus. My thoughts kept drifting back to Mason. The betrayal. The humiliation. And how quickly I had run away from all of it. Into this. Into him. That night, I wandered alone through the halls. My footsteps echoed, and the chandeliers cast shadows that felt too long. I stood before a portrait of a woman in a red dress. The nameplate read, Elena Leclerc, 1984 to 2019. Ethan's wife. I turned to Maria. Who's this? Maria hesitated. That was his late sister. I nodded slowly, still feeling like an intruder in someone else's life. A glimpse of the truth. By day 4, I finally heard from Ethan. Short call. He sounded tired. I just landed in Geneva, he said. How's the house? Big, I said honestly. He chuckled softly. I can imagine. When will you be back? Soon, he said. Ivy, do you regret it? The question hit harder than expected. Pause. I don't know, I said truthfully. I'm still trying to understand what it is. Fair enough, he said. There's something I need to tell you. But I'll do it in person. He hung up before I could ask what he meant. The Billionaire reveal. 3 days later, I woke up to the sound of choppers overhead. Curious, I stepped out to the balcony and saw a black helicopter landing in the far lawn. Security guards moved around it like shadows. And then Ethan stepped out. No tie, no smile. Just a black trench coat, sunglasses, and an energy I hadn't seen before. Controlled, powerful, and distant. He walked straight into the mansion and up to me. Ivy, he said. Come with me. There's something I want you to see. I followed him wordlessly. Down a corridor I hadn't explored yet. A sliding biometric door opened with his palm print. Behind it was a private office. Sleek, glass, and modern. Not a paper in sight. Only screens. At least 10 of them. Stock tickers, maps, spreadsheets. Ethan, what is all this? Yes. He tapped a button, and the screen projected a document in large text. Leclerc Holdings Global Portfolio. Estimated net worth, £5.4 billion. Froze. What? I wanted you to see this from me, not Google, Ethan said quietly. I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you everything. My name has been tied to too many women chasing money. I didn't want to be one of your regrets. My legs felt weak. You're a billionaire. Yes. I stared at him, unsure what to say. You rushed into this marriage to escape something broken. He offered safety. But now you're standing in a life you didn't sign up for. You can walk away if you want. I'll make sure you have everything you need. But I want to give you a choice, with truth this time. He looked around the room, then back at him. I don't want your money, I whispered. Ethan stepped closer. I know. That's why I told you. For the first time, our eyes locked without distraction. Not as strangers. Not as broken souls. But as two people finally beginning to see each other. I stood silently in Ethan's sleek office, my eyes still fixed on the glowing screen bearing a truth I hadn't imagined. £5.4 billion net worth. No wonder everything around me felt surreal. The luxury wasn't for show. Ethan was more than just rich, he was powerful, globally connected, and used to being in control. And yet, he had never tried to control me. He could have flaunted all this to impress me, to trap me. But he didn't. He waited. He gave me space. He told me the truth when he didn't have to. Still, none of it changed the fact that I was now married to a stranger. And that stranger happened to be one of the richest men in the world. The first real conversation. That evening after dinner, we sat across from each other in the private library. A fireplace crackled softly, painting warm shadows across the old books lining the shelves. I suppose I owe you an apology, Ethan said, his voice calm but sincere. Not for who I am, but for letting you walk into this without warning. I'm still processing it, I replied honestly. But, you didn't lie. You just didn't show me the full picture. He nodded slowly. Are there other things I should know? Cautiously. Yes, Ethan said. But they're not dangerous. Just complicated. I've built a life that very few people can understand, and even fewer can survive. Keep my circle tight. I don't trust easily. I crossed my legs, leaning forward. Then why did you marry me? Ethan looked into my eyes for a long moment before answering. Because when I saw you that night in the restaurant, broken, furious, holding yourself together with trembling hands, I saw something familiar. Not weakness, survival. And I thought, maybe you are the one person who won't look at me like I'm a prize. I blinked, stunned by the honesty in his voice. I didn't expect to fall in love, he added. And I haven't, not yet. But I wanted to give both of us a second chance. The words hung in the air like smoke. I appreciate your honesty, I said softly. But I need time. You have it, Ethan replied. And for the first time, something quiet settled between us. Not love, not trust, but understanding. The world finds out. 3 days later, the headlines exploded. Secret wedding. Billionaire Ethan LeClaire quietly marries mystery woman. Who is Ivy Taylor? From broken engagement to billionaire bride. Gold digger or Cinderella? I hadn't even posted a photo. But someone had leaked the marriage license. Stared at the flashing images on her phone. Magazines, gossip blogs, Twitter threads dissecting her clothes, her face, even old photos from her college years. People called her names. Others defended her. But the noise was deafening. Couldn't go out. Couldn't breathe. Even my old Instagram DMs were full of threats and marriage proposals. Panic settled in my chest like cement. When Ethan returned home that evening, he found me curled up on the guest room bed, phone in hand, tears streaking my cheeks. I can't do this, I whispered as he walked in. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want any of this attention. Without a word, Ethan sat beside me and took the phone gently from my hand. Without a word, Ethan sat beside me and took the phone gently from my hand. You're not alone in this, he said. But I don't even know what this is, I choked out. We got married because I was broken. You gave me something safe. But now the world thinks I'm after your money. And I don't even know how to explain that I didn't even know you were rich. I'll fix it, Ethan said calmly. No interviews. No press. I'll put out a statement, neutral, honest. I looked up at him. Why are you being so kind to me? He stared at me for a long time. Because I know what it's like to be judged before you're understood. The soft beginning of something real. The days that followed were quieter. Ethan doubled his security and made sure I had access to anything I needed. A therapist, a stylist, even a public relations advisor if I wanted to manage my image. I declined all but the therapist. I didn't want to be a brand. I just wanted to breathe. One evening, we sat out in the rose garden. Something I had discovered by accident while escaping the constant buzz of the media. Ethan poured me a glass of wine and asked, "Do you want to stay in this marriage?" The question hit me like cold wind. I don't know, I admitted. I think we skipped all the steps. We didn't date. We didn't even kiss before the wedding. It's like we're strangers playing husband and wife in someone else's life. I agree, he said. But we don't have to keep pretending. We can start fresh, from the beginning. As two people trying to understand each other. You'd do that? Yes, Ethan said simply. We can live in the same house. Be honest. No pressure. No intimacy unless it's mutual. You deserve that choice. I exhaled, the tension in my chest loosening. Okay, I said. Let's try it. One day at a time. A letter from the past. The next morning I checked my mail out of habit, and found a small white envelope with no return address. Inside was a note written in familiar handwriting. You didn't waste time, huh? Married a billionaire. Was I just a stepping stone for your climb? Mason. My fingers went cold. He knew. And he was angry. I crumpled the paper and tossed it into the fireplace. I wasn't that girl anymore. And I wouldn't let my past shame me into ruining my future. 2 months had passed since I stumbled into a marriage with Ethan LeClaire, a stranger who offered me safety in my darkest moment. But now, as spring spilled across the hills of Surrey and the roses bloomed in the garden, something else was blossoming too. Trust. And with trust came fear. Because love wasn't far behind. And love, for someone like I, who had been betrayed and discarded, was far more terrifying than being married to a billionaire. When the storm finally came. On a warm Tuesday morning, I was preparing to meet Ethan's legal team. He had offered to transfer a 5% stake in one of his companies to me, as a gesture of partnership, he'd said. But just as I slipped on my heels, Maria, the housekeeper, rushed in. "Madam, it's the news. You need to see this." I hurried to the living room. The TV showed Ethan's face, grim, tight-lipped, as he was swarmed by journalists outside a courthouse. Ethan Leclerc under investigation for illegal surveillance of former business partners. Allegations include data theft, blackmail, and financial manipulation. My blood ran cold. The news anchor continued. Multiple whistleblowers claim Mr. Leclerc monitored his competitors and even some employees. He has not commented. When my husband comes back, I ask him about it. He said he didn't do anything, just a blackmail. Days pass. Weeks past, the people that blackmail him was found, and the maid confession who sent them, which was his ex-fiancée. She tried to separate us. I open up to my husband, telling him how the lady, her ex, came and was warning me about the secret room. Ethan smiled, said that I should follow him and open the room. Inside the room was different gold, diamonds, so many expensive things. He said to me, "My lovely wife, there is nothing in this room secret. My ex left me because of her bad character." I smile and hug him. Life continues with happiness, and we leave together without no regrets. Beloved, hope you enjoyed my love story and hope you learned something from it. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.